Who are the top 5 rookies in the NFL so far through the first half of the 2025 season? So, Doug, we're going to rank our top 5 rookies here. You've got 5. I've got 5. We'll start with yours. Let's go 5 to 1. Who are the top 5 rookies that you've seen on the field so far this season?
Yeah, and these aren't necessarily the best because that's all subjective and so many, factors go into that. These are just the guys I've had the most fun maybe watching overall. And I'll start with a really good rookie player on a really bad defense, the worst defense in the NFL, Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker, Cincinnati Bengals. Carson Schlesinger, I know, of the Browns, Jihad Campbell of the Eagles. They're the 2 big-name rookie linebackers in this class. We knew about them. I watched Knight, actually I have 2 South Carolina guys, I just realized that. I watched him in that South Carolina defense, and I just loved the way he was a do-it-all linebacker. He blitz, cover the whole field, blow up run fits, everything you need a guy to do. And he's been that guy for the Bengals all season, though it's been tough to see because the rest of the offense or the defense just you want to hide your eyes and run. Real mover, especially in coverage. He's got 3 pass breakups and an interception on the season. He can shoot up the seam in Tampa 2 looks. He can roll out to the flat. Really, he's a full field mover. Even if you wanted to play a dime, he would be the one linebacker on the field, and he can go side to side, 20, 30 yards upfield. He can handle it all. So I've just been really impressed with Knight. No one's going to talk about him because all you can do is make fun of that Bengals defense, and justifiably so. But I loved his college tape, and even with no help around him whatsoever. That's the other thing. He has no help. It's not like you're playing in a great defense where so many other guys, the veterans, have it on the ball. He's sort of having to dig the, the diamond out of the horse bleep by himself.
What's funny about that defense, Doug, is when Trey Hendrickson is not on the field, their 2 best players might be linebackers they drafted this year, and Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter, who just supplanted Logan Wilson as the other starter, and so they traded him away. Those 2 guys as rookie linebackers might be the 2 best guys on the field when Hendrickson's hurt.
Go figure. So who's your 5th?
My 5th, and again, I apologize in advance because you know I'm a Tampa guy, and I just could not keep this guy off of my list. Number 5 for me is Jacob Parrish, the slot nickel corner, 3rd-round pick out of Kansas State. And again, as a longtime Bucs fan, you can't blame me for being a sucker for an undersized, underappreciated 3rd-round pick as a nickel corner, as Rondé Barber was coming out of Virginia in 1997. But Jacob Parrish is the truth, man. Like, he is the perfect modern nickel slot corner. I don't care how big he's not. And by the way, if you go back and look at the combine, he's an absolute athlete. Like, he checks every box as an athlete, but he's just, and again, we talked about this in another video where I was talking about USF DB Jarvis Lee. I guess I'm just a sucker for a nickel cornerback who's an absolute maniac with no regard for their own physical safety. Because,
well, so the good news is so is Todd Bowles.
Exactly. We have that in common. I'm fine with that if Todd and I have that in common, because this dude, and again, he's doing everything at a high level. He's getting into the backfield. He's got a ton of tackles for loss. He's got multiple sacks this year. He's got his hands on 3 passes in coverage. He's sticky in man. He understands zone responsibilities. He's, even as a rookie, when you watch guys take certain chances in coverage and peel off their guy to go jump a route that's not even theirs to make a play, that is not just instinct, it's preparation. That's a guy that during the week has watched the tape, is confident in the route combos he's seeing. He's confident in the downs and distances and the patterns that he's studied to be willing to jump that route, because to him, it's not a gamble. He's seen it on film 100 times this week, and he knows what they're trying to do. Those are the things I'm seeing from Jacob Parrish as a rookie. Again, halfway through his rookie season, I think he's wise beyond his years. I think he's an elite athlete. And again, we talked about this with multiple guys. He plays like he has no idea how small he is. Like, he has no idea he's not massive, because he's willing to be physical. He sticks his head in there against the run. Just a smart, instinctive player who is also an elite athlete. And again, I think he's in the perfect spot in Todd Bowles' defense to maximize what he does well, and I think he's been doing it really, really well so far this season.
Well, I went back. I had not watched him with the Buccaneers when you mentioned him, so I watched a little bit this morning, and then I went back to my notes. I got to him late in the draft prospect. I put this up April 14th. Kansas State cornerback Jacob Parrish is a real pain in the ass in press matched coverage, both outside and in the slot, takes his targets where he wants them to go, has match feet all over the field, and he thinks the ball is his more than it is yours. So I was on to him to a point, and then I'm watching his Buccaneers tape, and Yeah, the blitz stuff and the tackles for loss and all that. And he will break up passes as an outside guy, also as an overhang safety. So it's not just one. When we say slot, that's the primary thing, but he can do more, which is pretty cool.
All right, who's number 4 on your list? Let's move it on up.
Nick Scourton, edge, Carolina Panthers. Abdul Carter is the headliner here. I would also mention Donovan Izaraku of the Cowboys, who's actually getting stuff done in another horrible defense. I've been a bit more impressed with Scourton this season. 4 sacks, 20 total pressures, 6'4", 257. He's got the speed to power stuff you would want from a guy that size. And he will just bowl people right into the pocket, which he did in college too. Great quickness in short areas to close the gap between him and the ball carrier. And he will chase people down in space. He had a sack of Josh Allen in week 8 where he chased Allen about 25 horizontal yards all over the field. He just would not be denied. I remember one of the things I loved about Yannick Ngakoue, the pass rusher who played for years, was that he was such an effort sack guy. I think Scourton seems inclined to want to lead the league in effort sacks someday, and I just love those kind of players. So I was high on him coming into the draft, and I think he's lived up to his potential. And the Panthers, they're a bit spunky this year. I'm not taking them entirely seriously as playoff contenders, but you have seen some improvement, and certainly on defense, and Scourton's been great.
Yeah, it's funny. This draft, I loved it for the Bucs, but I hated it as a Bucs fan for everybody else in the NFC South because they all kept taking players that I absolutely loved, like the Falcons stealing Xavier Watts in the 3rd round.
Ugh.
But one of the guys was the Panthers getting Nick Scourton really pissed me off because watching Scourton's tape, again, and you mentioned that usually when we talk about a guy being a high effort guy, it's usually because they're not a great athlete. That is not the case with Nick Scourton. No. He's a fantastic athlete. And the toughest thing about evaluating him going into this draft, Doug, was that when he was at Purdue earlier in his career, he was playing at 260, 265, and he was that explosive athlete off the edge, dropping into coverage, doing everything. He transferred to Texas A&M, and they bulked him up to like 280, 285, and made him play a completely different role in that defense that didn't allow him to be as productive. So people looked at the drop in production and they'd be like, oh, another, highly touted recruit who just didn't live up to it. That just wasn't the case. He was the latest in a long line of prospects to just be miscast in the role he was when he was coming out of college. And so when he came into the combine and he's 265 again, I'm like, okay, you know where you're going to be most valuable at the next level. So when he ends up in Carolina, again, as a Bucs fan, I'm not thrilled, but that's just a fantastic pick for them. And we're seeing everything we saw from him. Not that he wasn't dominant at times at Texas A&M. It just didn't show up in the stat sheet as much, but he just looks like the version of himself we saw at Purdue, but just a more polished one. And like you said, for Josh Allen and any other quarterback, that's a dangerous combination for a guy that's playing a premium position. And when you match the effort with the athleticism, guy's going to have a long, productive career at that position.
Well, he's a pure edge guy now, and they gave him a receiver number, 11. Maybe that's just to keep him thin. So it's all working out.
There you go. It's slimmed down. It's a great number for the figure.
The vertical numbers make you look thinner. Right?
It does. Number 4 is a guy, I feel like this is an obvious pick for a lot of people, but I didn't want to just overlook him because we're used to it already because he made such an immediate impact right away. Tyler Warren, the whole process was like, that's the guy the Colts need. I know they're picking at 14. He's probably not going to get there. Maybe they trade up. Tyler Warren was the number 5 overall prospect in this class for me on my board at the end of the process. When you looked at that offense, when you looked at what they needed at that position, but the scheme in general, where they wanted to be run heavy, even with Daniel Jones, whether it was Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, you knew there was going to be some running, but some quarterback run stuff in there, but you knew Jonathan Taylor was going to be the focal point. They needed a tight end who couldn't just challenge defenses as a receiver vertically after the catch, running routes to all levels, but they needed a guy who would block his ass off, and that was the guy, right? We just never thought there was a shot he'd get to 14. He did, and they got their guy, and man, has he been exactly what we expected him to be in that offense. He is blocking his ass off, and he's a huge reason why Jonathan Taylor is an MVP candidate because, and I talked about this so much leading up to the process, when you have a tight end who is a dynamic receiving weapon, but because of how well he blocks, his presence and his alignment on the field does not give away what you're running because he's not, if he's lined up there, it's play action because they're not going to line him up in line and block me. That's not his game. That's not what they're going to do. Tyler Warren isn't that guy. He's not giving up anything no matter where you line him up in terms of run, pass, play action, whatever. And so all of that variance has played exactly the way Shane Steichen wants to be able to call his game. He's always keeping people off balance. I think it's a huge reason why they're so good this year. But Tyler Warren is everything we thought he would be as a receiver. We saw him make a huge catch down the field to help seal that game against the Falcons in Berlin on Sunday. But even the versatile stuff, we saw what he did at Penn State in terms of goal line and short yardage as a Wildcat quarterback. They're doing all of that like we hoped they would. Yeah. He's moving the chains. He's getting in the end zone. He's doing all of those things. It was just such a perfect fit, and it's translating immediately. I think he's been one of the most impactful rookies in the league for one of the best teams in the league, and that's why he had to make my list.
He's been a really good escape hatch for a quarterback in Daniel Jones who needs that, and he has 11 explosive receptions on the season. It's everything from goes and seams and corners to give him a flat or a drag or a screen, and he's just gone. I mean, he will bowl through people, which he did in college too. Yeah, kind of a baby Gronk, the guy who can do it all.
Did you see the other catch he made on Sunday where it was, I think it was a 4th and 1, and poor Billy Bowman, who's like the size of his right leg, tried to like deflect that
And Billy
pass.
Bowman has been a good defender.
Billy Bowman's great. Yeah, it was just
not,
it was just one of those clear, like, no, not in this situation. Like just such a clutch performer. Like you said, on every type of route, he can make the explosive plays, but when you just need 4th and 1, you can throw it to him even when he's covered, and he's going to come away with the ball.
Yeah, he's open no matter what. Yeah, great player, perfect for that system. Yeah, I don't have anything more to add. I think we knew he was going to be great, and he's been that great.
Who do you have at number 3 on your list, Doug?
I have Nick Emmanwori, my second South Carolina player. DB, I'll call him, Seattle Seahawks. The force is strong with this one. Seahawks took Emmanwori out of South Carolina in the second round, and the fit was obvious. Mike McDonald, who was the Ravens defensive coordinator in 22 and 23, wanted the same kind of physical profile in a player he had with Kyle Hamilton when McDonald was there. Emmanwori is 6'3", 227, and a Combine Spiders chart that looked like science fiction. I mean, just
you said this from the beginning. As soon as he went to Seattle, you were like, boy.
Oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. The Seahawks have used him primarily as a box slot player, and he's been range all over the field. But what got him into my top 5 was the 4 pass breakups he had against the Cardinals on Sunday. You can now put him in man as an overhang or a slot defender, and he will just erase people. He's learning to cover with anticipation. The zone reps can still be a little rough at times. McDonald talked after the Cardinals game where they just beat the daylights out of the Cardinals, how they're expanding Emmanwori's role, and he's not Hamilton yet. I mean, nobody is really. You can see that start to come along in that direction. I think another guy here reminds me of when Cam Chancellor was drafted by the Seahawks. He was basically a linebacker. No one thought he could cover, and they taught him how to cover, and then Cam was, I mean, in my mind, Super Bowl 48 MVP, all the big hits and stuff, one of the most impactful defenders of his era. And I think Emmanwori, Mike McDonald, my gosh, what a defensive mind anyway. It's really been fascinating to see how they've deployed him differently, how they're expanding his role, and how that's going to continue to increase. Because this is really what they did with Hamilton, right? It's what you do when the Eagles got Cooper DeJean. The first thing Vic Fangio said is, we're going to teach him to do one thing well, then the second thing, then the third thing. We're not going to overwhelm him with stuff. And that's what they're doing here with the Seahawks. I think they're doing it really well. And I don't know that he'll ever be Kyle Hamilton, because Kyle Hamilton is a unicorn. He was my number 1 player in his class. He's the best. I think he's the defensive MVP this season for a number of reasons. But Emmanwori does have that profile, and he's in a defense where I could think of 4 or 5 defensive coordinators who would get Emmanwori and have absolutely no idea how to use him. That didn't happen, and that's a really good thing.
Yeah, it's funny. Like he popped for me going into last season. Like looking at even the previous season's tape, I was like, man, I think something about this kid is special. You're not that big and that fast. And I remember multiple people telling me at the time, like, oh yeah, we said that about Obi Melifonwu, and see what happened. And I was like, yeah, I guess we did, like, in terms of athleticism, but if you watch the football, that's not what we're getting at all.
Are we supposed? Wait, are we supposed to do that?
We are. We're supposed to
watch the football.
So it's like, I get the fact that you can't just hang your hat on athleticism, but the dude, like, particularly, like you said, you have to have a trump card until you get everything else. And the dude just takes the football away. That's what I like. He makes big plays, and I can figure out the rest while he's making splash plays for us. And I think that's what happened at South Carolina the whole rest of the 2024 season. and like you said, was just such a perfect fit for this defense, for this role. And like you said, he's not even there yet. Like, can you imagine what he becomes when he unlocks every part of his game with that athletic profile?
Yep.
I just, at that size, with that athletic profile, I don't think there's many human beings on the planet who are that size and can move the way he does. So when the rest of it catches up, man, I just think he could be one of the most impactful defenders in the league for a long time to come, in a defense that's going to absolutely put him in position to be the best version of himself now and later. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's one guy now who can do that. Maybe there will be two. We'll see.
Exactly. The number 3 guy on my list, my next 2 guys, just to be clear, are both offensive linemen. So the number 3 guy on my list is a guy that going into this draft, there were 2 schools of thought, right? There was the school of thought where everybody was like, Will Campbell is the best left tackle in this draft. And there was the other school of thought, which is Will Campbell's not a left tackle at all. He's going to have to slide inside. He's going to have to be a guard. I was somewhat on the fence. I was like,
I'm going to have to take my medicine here because I screwed this up.
Listen, I saw a left tackle on tape, and then there were measurables that made me concerned that wherever he was going to end up, some team wasn't going to give him a chance, and they were going to slide him inside, and he was going to be a really damn good guard. But I was hopeful that a team would give him a shot at left tackle. That became clear right away when the Patriots took him at 4, right? They're like, we're taking him. He is going to be a left tackle. And this is the cautionary tale, not for you as much as the people that are like, oh, if you have arms that are an inch too short, you have to slide inside and play guard, because that wasn't your argument. We had this conversation multiple times.
No, it had nothing to do with his it was a lot of SEC edge rushers were eating his lunch at left tackle. It happened over and over and over again.
Exactly. So you had a much better a film-based process for why you were concerned about his ability. But I tell you what, man, halfway through his rookie season, he's better than I thought he would be at left tackle, and he's a big reason why your favorite MVP candidate, Drake Maye, is having a hell of a second season, because his blind side is taken care of. Will Campbell is dominating in the run game. He's stonewalling every rusher he comes up against. Again, he just did the same thing against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday, where nobody got anything on him, got anywhere near Maye if they were rushing on his side. For anybody who was concerned that his arms were too short to play left tackle, I hate to tell you, but this is one of many left tackles now who is just a really good football player, regardless of how long his arms are. He knows what he's doing. I think he's going to be stuck in that spot for a long, long time. Anybody who was concerned about it for whatever reason, it doesn't look like those concerns were well-founded, because he looks like a franchise tackle right out of the box.
Well, if you have shorter arms and you attack as much as you catch in pass pro, and the Patriots do a lot of both, that sort of negates, because the problem with short arms, obviously, if the defender can get his hands in your chest and you can't respond, you're done. They've done a really good job of maximizing Campbell's attributes. I thought at best he'd be a Jake Long, Andrew Whitworth style guy, where he was just so up on the fundamentals. And Whitworth played awesome left tackle for a long time after playing guard with Cincinnati for a while. But you're not going to come in like Tyron Smith, where just your measurables allow you to learn as you go. He had to come in fully formed, and he did. So yeah, I'll take the L on that one.
All right, who's number 2?
Number 2 is a quarterback whose coach just was fired, Jaxson Dart, New York Giants. My favorite rookie quarterback in 2025 is also the most productive. The Giants selected Dart with the 25th overall pick in the draft to learn behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. It didn't take long for Wilson's variance to drive Brian Daboll nuts, because it drives everyone nuts, and Dart got a shot earlier than expected. 109 of a 175 passes for 1,175 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, passer rating of 93.9. Twice as many touchdown passes as any other rookie quarterback has this season. Highly effective as a designed runner. And there's a randomness to his style. You're not always sure what he's doing out there. But at his best, he's proven he can run an NFL offense. He can go through progressions. He's not just a run-to-run guy. And by the way, he's done all this without Malik Neighbors, who would certainly be his best receiver were he healthy. The only thing Dart really needs to figure out is how to play football in a way that isn't hazardous to his health. Hopefully the move from Daboll to Mike Kafka, the former OC and now interim head coach, will help. Sunday's loss to the Bears, 4th time Dart has been evaluated for a concussion this season. Guy's only started 7 games. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I start to wonder. I see stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I really enjoyed watching you play, but I don't know if I want you to play football anymore like this. You got to figure this out, because this does not bode well for your future as a human being. Never mind a quarterback. But when Dart's on, I love him. Loving him coming out, and I think he's lived up to just about all of it.
Yeah, it's funny when I've seen him at his best this year. I remember how much you talked about throughout the process his connection with Jalen Hurts, where that was his comp. That was the guy he liked the most, that he wanted to emulate, because the skill set is very, very similar. You got guys that have the arm talent, but the instincts and athleticism as a runner, they're underrated. Being a successful and an effective runner as a quarterback is so much more than just how fast you are, how naturally athletic you are. It's about understanding gaps and understanding blocking schemes, understanding what you're trying to maximize and expose in the defense, and subtle movements to set up guys on one shoulder to seal a block so you can go the other way, all those little things. He's just so naturally good at those things that I see the comp so well that you put out there. And again, my really only concern is his health, man. Like, when you, again, evaluated for a concussion 4 times in the first half of your rookie season, the ceiling is so high for him because the arm talent is there. Again, you spent a lot of time in the pre-draft process trying to debunk the whole myth of Ole Miss's offense not preparing him well for the next level. And right. I think you did a great job of doing that. And I think we're seeing the results of how true that was, because he is finding success. I just hope he gets a chance to hit that ceiling. I hope he's able to stay healthy. And again, concussions are such a different injury than everything else, literally. Every injury has its difficulties and challenges, but when you're talking about your brain health, it's just such a different ball game. And so I hope he's able to overcome that. I hope he has no lasting effects, and can reach his ceiling, because the sample size we've seen so far is really, really fun. Whoever comes in here as the next head coach of the New York Giants is going to have a lot to work with, and hopefully he's able to stay healthy and realize that.
Talk to them Yankees or the Mets third base coach. Teach him how to slide.
Please slide. Please slide from now on. I told you number 2 was also an offensive lineman on my list. And again, this was a guy who the argument is always, when you come from North Dakota State, can you hang? Can you hang against the top competition? Blah, blah, blah. Gray Zabel looks like he's been doing this for 10 years already.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem. I know he played left tackle. They moved him inside. We were a little bit concerned coming out of the last couple of years. That offensive line in Seattle was not great for Geno Smith. It was a struggle for them to protect him, a struggle for them to block consistently in the run. They didn't make too many changes except dropping him into the middle of all that, and things have gotten a lot better really, really fast. And I think he's obviously got a ton to do with that. He's not allowing splash plays through his gaps and through his assignment, and he is absolutely plowing the road in the run game. He's keeping Sam Darnold clean, another MVP candidate, and it has a lot to do with what's happening up front. Anybody who was concerned about his ability to translate to the next level, if you've seen any Seahawks tape this year, you know that is not a problem. He looks like a Pro Bowl guy already out of the box, which, again, for an FCS guy is just pretty rare. He gives me the Ali Marpet vibes, man. He a guy that just comes to the next level right away, and he's just got the goods.
I remember talking to Ali Marpet at his combine. I'm thinking, I would never want to make this guy angry, because he'd kill me. He would kill me with his bare
I still don't want to make Ali Marpet angry, and he weighs like half of what he did before he retired. It's crazy. I still wouldn't want to piss him off. He's just such a nice guy, too. I don't know.
He is, but nasty on the field. Yeah, Zabel, I wondered, well, in a scheme-agnostic team, because the Seahawks have done different stuff, a lot more condensed formations, inside-outside zone, play action, under center play action, a lot of pre-snap motion. So, whereas with other teams, I thought maybe Zabel would be a center, I think he really works well as a guard here, because he can get on the move. He can hit the second-level target. He can do all the things you need a really good guard of that style. I always think of Eric Steinbach with the old Browns when he was in there next to Joe Thomas. And, boy, that guy could move. Oh, my God. Or Jari Evans with the Saints. Sean Payton has always loved those athletic right guards. Jari Evans can go 30 yards upfield faster than your, linebacker could get to him. Zabel has that same kind of athleticism, and it fits really well in the system. So it's another case of really good player, got with the right system. It's why Clint Kubiak is going to be sorry, Seattle fans. Clint Kubiak is going to be a head coach somewhere next year. That's done. Zabel has fit really well in this system, and it really happened from day one, and that's where that experience comes in. And again, reps do not equate to experience. We talked about this with Carson Beck. We talked about it with other guys. It's the Malcolm Gladwell thing, man. 10,000 reps at anything means nothing if you don't learn from it. Zabel came into the NFL as pretty much a fully formed player, and all he's done is expand on that.
I feel like we have the same number one.
I feel like we do, and why not?
Do we have the same number
Yeah.
one? That makes me happy because then now I'm not the biased Bucs fan.
No.
But I'll let you go first. I'll let you take the baton first. Why is Emeka Egbuka the best rookie in the NFL so far this season?
Well, I know what I've seen, and then I went to the Week 5 game between the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. That big shootout, that was fun. I asked Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield if they've ever worked with a receiver with as much polish as Egbuka came into the NFL with, and both said immediately they've never experienced it. Think about that. Think about how many guys Mayfield's thrown to. Think about how long Bowles has been coaching. Mayfield told me that Egbuka is one of one. He's just a different as a player and as a person. And he's absolutely right. 40 catches on 76 targets, 677 yards, 6 touchdowns. And it's how he's doing it that matters. People bag on him as a slot guy, which I don't... What are you watching? 66% of his snaps have come from the outside. That's partially because of other receivers being hurt. As well as 70% of his targets have come from outside. 14 explosive plays this season, and he'll get to them with any route. This is a guy who already looks like a 5-year veteran, and it's not a bunch of underneath stuff. He already is a receiver who can do anything he needs to do. I rarely see a rookie receiver where I'm going, well, okay, give him a year and he'll be able to figure this out. Or, okay, if he's against, if he's the cover 4 defender, receiver in cover 6, maybe you don't want that because he can't do X, Y, Z. He looks like, okay, he's going to the Pro Bowl because he can already do everything in the NFL. I don't see that learning curve, which just reinforces what both Mayfield and Bowles said about him.
It's funny. The Bucs are 6-3, despite playing most of their games without Mike Evans and without Chris Godwin. Let alone without Luke Easterling and Kalijah Kancey and Bucky Irving. All these guys have been out, but they're still playing really, really well. The Bucs lost to the Patriots on Sunday, but Baker Mayfield threw for 274, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. He's got 16 touchdowns and 2 picks so far this season. And most of those games, his receivers have been rookie Emeka Egbuka, rookie Tez Johnson, who could get honorable mention on this list, by the way, as could Elijah Roberts, another rookie from that class for the Bucs.
He's got the best backflip, I know that.
And Sterling Shepard, a guy that Baker Mayfield basically had to drag out of retirement. He was going to retire, except he brought him into. And kudos to Shep because he's had some big plays this year. But, I mean, it's so funny to look back at draft day and everybody was like, why the hell are the Bucs taking a wide receiver? What are they doing? That's their strongest position. They need all these things on defense. Now you see why. He has been the de facto number 1 receiver in this offense, and they haven't really missed much of a beat in terms of being able to do what they want to do, and it speaks to what you said. He can already line up everywhere, run every route, do everything at every level. And for any other team to lose 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers, 1 a Hall of Famer, Evans and Godwin, for most of the season so far, and because of a guy you drafted 19th overall, you've still been able to win 6 out of 9 games. You're still able to be in the top of your division. Your quarterback's still able to throw 16 touchdowns and only 2 picks. Emeka Egbuka has been everything they imagined and more. And again, he's winning in every single way. That if this is his rookie season, man, I can't wait to see what he becomes. You've said it before. I don't know why he can't be the next Justin Jefferson because of the arc and the skill set and what he. Again, if we look forward, Mike Evans is going to be 32. He's in the last year of his contract. Godwin's going to turn 30 next year, and he doesn't seem like he can stay healthy. I think Baker Mayfield's looking at the next generation of his time in Tampa and saying, I've got Emeka Egbuka, I've got Jalen McMillan coming back next year, I've got Tez Johnson. I might be set for another decade if these guys are, if what we're seeing right away is what I'm going to get moving forward.
Well, let's look at this. PFF tracks what a quarterback's passer rating is when throwing to a receiver. Egbuka ranks 10th in the NFL at 112.3. He's the only rookie anywhere near the top 10. It's George Pickens, Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr., Drake London, Quentin Johnston, hello, and Egbuka. Yeah, so he's that good. He does everything well. I don't think we need to really go too far out of our way to rubber stamp this. He's just that good.
He is that good. Do you agree with our list? Who are your top 5 rookies so far this season? Let us know in the comments below.